stream. I won't play a song because that's probably not a good idea. So this is us now thinking on our feet here on
Alright,
your...
we're live now.
Okay, we're live now, yeah?
Yeah.
Alright then, let me hit record on mine. And here we go. Good evening all. My name's RJ. We are here and we are live this evening, Friday night. We're on your radio and we're on YouTube because on our evening show, I'm delighted to say that not only producer Sam's here. Do you want to say hi, Sam?
Hello.
Hello. So he's going to be making sure that this goes well. Tonight's special guest on your evening show and on YouTube tonight, Haannah Clarkson is here. Good evening, Haannah.
Good evening. Hello.
How does it feel? How does it feel to be here across the UK and world?
Oh, it's exciting. I'm so glad you've had me along. Thank you for asking me to come on the show. Really appreciate it.
It means a lot. And obviously you would have seen back in April, May, we did a special competition and it was really searching for the new voice, and of course Faye won it, but obviously we've had so many entries and of course you were one of them. So we thought we have you on this evening because of course you used to actually work for GCAP and Global and GWR Group. So, you know, tonight it's all about you and the radio industry. And if you want to get in touch with us, it's the usual numbers. And if you're on YouTube, it's the chats. If you've got any questions for Haannah or me or maybe Sam, because he's also here. Right, Sam?
Yeah.
You're here. So first of all, welcome to the show tonight and on YouTube as well. On those who are on playback, those will, you know, wish to listen again at some point. It is up and it will be up. So you're first of all, I just want to introduce you. You've been, how long have you been in the radio industry for?
Well, I was trying to work this out. I've joined the radio. My first job was when I was about 20, and without telling you exactly how old I am, it's over 20 years.
So you would have, me and Sam, we're here in our lovely, we like our pint of cider, we all know.
Oh, I like my lemonade, my Sprite.
Yes, I mean, well, that song we're talking about,
Oh, yeah,
you know,
the Wurzel. Yeah.
So we're from that part of the world, so obviously not everybody's gonna know you, but you used to be in that sector when it was all, how will I call it, all independent. They were slowly merging. So what was it like when you started out 20 or so years ago?
20 or so years ago, the radio world was a completely different world. We had so many small radio stations, and there was kind of the competitivity because everybody was kind of competing about everybody else. It was when radio really was important, you know what I mean? There were small city radio stations, and it was just such a different vibe, and it was just so local, and it was all about the people and the communities you lived in. Like, the first radio station I worked at was based in Portsmouth. It was a radio station for the city of Portsmouth. It was called the Key Radio.
Yeah.
And it was literally, we were out and about in Portsmouth all the time. Everybody knew us because it was just the city's radio station. And then, unfortunately, now there just isn't, is there at all?
Yeah.
So basically, what it was like then compared to what it is like now is very, very different. Of course, back then there were multiple radio stations all in one area, and right now there's pretty much, well, there's the BBC, there's the Globals, there's the Bowers. That's it, right?
Yeah, and the Globals and the Bowers, and we know, you know, what's happened over the years, and of course you've worked for both. Yes. So what was the name of that? What was it? Q Radio, was it?
So it was called The Key. It was 107.4 The Key, QUAY. So
yeah.
It was called Key Radio. So it was part of the company was called the Local Radio Company. That was the name of the company that owned us. And then that ultimately got bought out, and now I believe the frequency.
The greatest hits, I think it is.
Yes, probably is great. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Yeah, it was bought out, and then it was the Breeze, I think, for a little while. But back then, it was the radio station was all about making money in the city and doing things for the city. And the station I worked at was very closely linked with Portsmouth Football Club. So we did the commentary for the football games, and we were there at all the matches. And I remember one of the, I guess maybe one of the most embarrassing moments, or a moment I really remember, is when we just launched a brand new breakfast show, and myself and one of the other members of the team had to walk around the football ground with holding a massive big banner, like saying, "Listen to our radio show." And you know what the football fans are like, and the crowds and stuff. And there's me walking around with my blonde hair and a ponytail, going, "Hee!" And everyone was just like, "Oh, it was so much abuse." It was hilarious. It was funny, but it's just the way that we used to promote the radio stations back 20 years ago.
Yeah, and those who will know Bush and Troy used to do the breakfast show, and and Sam, you remember Bush and Troy, don't you? Because you used to listen to them.
I was on my way to school. Mum had Hart in the car, and there were Bush and Troy on the morning.
Yeah, I used to listen to and I actually met them in 2016 at the Bristol Balloon Fiesta once, and I've got my own story of that, don't I, Sam?
Yeah, they sprayed chips all over you, didn't they?
And I mean, speaking of events, did you go to one of the Heart? Became Heart, but before it, GWR. What did you go to one of those local events? You know, whatever it was where you were. Did you meet the listeners back then? Yeah, you.
Yeah. Oh, well, when I was working at the Key, we did events, so many events all the time. We were always out and about meeting listeners on the stage. I remember we did a big concert on stage, and we introduced Girls Aloud, Status Quo, all those kinds of people on the stage, and we did lots of music festivals. But when I was working for Heart, we did like the Race for Life.
Yeah.
So I'd go down to the Race for Life and like help them all out with the Race for Life and meet a lot of the listeners there. But never one of those, like I was never we never did much of that when I was with Heart in the later years, because when it became more networked, again, there was just less going out and about meeting people, really.
And that's it's sad, it's really sad, but obviously the big corporates, and I know we're on YouTube, so I've got to be careful, because I want to respect your former, because quite especially Radio Today, who I know will be watching tonight, so I need to be careful what I say and what I ask you. But in terms of local radio, Hearts, in terms of how many Hearts did you work at? Because I listened to you in our little part of the world, but I know you've moved up and down the country.
I worked at Heart before it was Heart. It was called Ocean FM down on the south coast.
Yeah.
And then I worked at the other Hearts I worked at Heart in Kent. I did a couple of weeks there, and then I did a lot of Heart in Reading. I worked there, and then I got the job at Heart in Cambridge, and I was in Heart in Cambridge, and then the Cambridge radio station expanded, so it was across Cambridge, Norfolk, Suffolk, Essex, and then the 4 counties. So, but Hearts, Beds, and Bucks, really.
Yeah. So you used to be on basically all the GCAP 1 networks. It used to be Chiltern, Mercury FM, which became Capital, and then the others went Hearts, and Capital, Hearts, and Smooth. So we're sticking with the GWR era, because that's kind of our peacetime. 2007, around that time. You used to work for Ocean. What was it like? The Black Thunders. Do you remember them?
Yeah. Of course, the Black Thunders. They were always out and about, and a lot of people have made their name from starting off as a Black Thunder, haven't they? And I remember they were always there at events, but they were a lot of the Black Thunders. You can tell the ones that were really the radio people ones, because there were some people that do those promotional work just for money, really, just to get in it. But there are a lot of them that actually really want to be in the radio, and they're the ones that hang around afterwards. They're the ones that stay, and they're the ones that make you a cup of tea and bring you in a slice of pizza kind of thing. And I remember one of those now went on to become quite a big sort of not a celebrity, but a radio presenter, I should say. Emma Saint. Do you know Emma Saint?
I don't think I know her, but
she now went on to she started off as a Black Thunder, and she was a Black Thunder while I was there, and now I know she's presenting a breakfast show on Radio Milton Keynes, and so a lot of the Black Thunders do end up becoming radio presenters, because that's that is a great way in, or it used to be, but sadly they don't seem to be a thing anymore.
And I know, Sam, you used to listen to... Who was your Black Thunder? Because I know you used to listen to Bush and Troy back there. I know you haven't met them, but did you meet one of the Black Thunders at GCAP, GWR?
No, I don't think I have, no.
No. Do you want to tell Hannah what your memories are listening to the Bush and Troy show?
Oh, they used to do a lot of songs in their shows, and they had a character called Spidey Man, and he used to be a big part of it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people who remember the Bush and Troy show, and I know this is national, but the majority of the audience, will remember Bush and Troy, and and obviously no disrespect to the other, there were literally 43 other local breakfast shows. I only speak for our part of the world, but there were like 43 other breakfasts, and you mentioned Ocean as well, and obviously 2009 was really the year when we saw the big top 40 and Capital and Heart going national. And obviously, I guess, what was it like for you when you knew that Heart was going to be the new name for, I don't know, GWR-FM or wherever? How did it feel that Heart was coming?
I mean, in a way, you have to roll with the times. You have to realise that that is the way forward, and that a big brand doesn't necessarily mean bad news for the listener. It's a shame when the local small heritage names go. That's the kind of thing. It would almost be like it would have been nice if it could have been "This is Heart" across GWR. Do you know what I mean? If they kept those sort of names in it. But unfortunately, they just can't do that, can they? So yeah, it was sad when Ocean FM went, and when Power FM went, and Invicta Radio went, and all these small sort of stations went, as it were. But they were still there, and they are still there. It's just they're not there in the way that they were.
And I'm going to mention a former producer of mine. We all know Sophie. You remember Sophie? She was here a year ago, and I remember when she used to work on now we're going way back, Late Night Love. I don't know if you remember that show. It was with Graham Torrington.
Oh yeah, Graham Torrington, yes, I definitely remember.
It was on the GCAP network. I still call it GCAP, I don't know why, but it was the one network, and I was working with Sophie last year, and we were just reminiscing, and it's but we're in the modern times. Of course, Heart arrived, and then Capital came along, and DAB Digital Radio came along. Keep your questions coming. I do see your chats, by the way. Hello to TGR. Nice see you there. Cool Kid is also here. If you got a question for Haannah, please send them in, and I'm sure Sam can interrupt me if there's any questions. So Sam, just keep an eye out on the chat, because that they might want to ask a question. But in terms of Heart, I don't really want to mention it, but I'm going to mention it anyway. But 2019, we saw the biggest change in this industry. Actually, 2018, I think it was 2018 when. Was it 2019?
Oh, it was 29. It was in February in 2019. So I remember exactly where I was. Yeah. When you'll say it. You say it.
So in 2019, something called the I was going to say Media Act, but that was last year. But 2019, we saw some dereg come along, and we saw Bush and Troy disappear, and it was really sad for us. But I know the other dozen breakfast shows. I mean, Sam, you were there when Bush and Troy had their final show. What was it like when you heard that Bush and Troy were leaving and being replaced by Jamie and Amanda?
Yeah, it was a bit. Till then I don't really listen to much radio, but back in the day it was nice to have somebody on, like going to school in the morning, like the good old days,
And then obviously all come from London now, and it's. But you survived. What was it like presenting that brand new afternoon show across our patch?
I remember the first show. I was extremely nervous, and I've been doing radio for, like we said, 20 years. But so becoming nervous was a bit odd, sort of thing. But yeah, I was very nervous because it was such a big patch. It went from being such a small patch to such a big patch, and you're very aware that a lot of these listeners are used to somebody else, and they're thinking, well, hang on, this woman's now come in and she's taken our gig. That was my friend's show used to do that show, or this person they've listened to for years and years and years. Now all of a sudden it was me coming in. So there was kind of like a bit of an awkward feeling over your head about it all. But I think as soon as you just got into it, like you just carry on, really. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're a radio, you play the songs, you talk about what you want to talk about, and it took a little while to, I think, probably bed in and stuff, but not too long, and everybody absolutely.
And obviously, I'm not going to hide I know that there were rules back then, and I know there's still rules now where people will record split. Me and Sam, we do it on this show, don't we? We record split links and we play them, and I guess for you, what was it like? Because from my memory, you used to read the travel for our little area where we were. So what was it like to actually read travel for each of those small areas that you were covering? Because I assume you read the travel for those.
Yeah. Well, as a presenter, when I was doing those shows, I was having to do the travel news as well, and you had to split that, of course, between all the different patches. So that was quite. Sometimes it was quite stressful if the travel news sort of came in late, because I wanted it to be so up to date. I wanted it to be really, really current. So I didn't like to record it too far in advance. And then when I was doing the actual travel news later on, sometimes if you left it too late and then something would happen, then you'd be kind of looking at the clock thinking, oh my gosh, how long have I got left before the travel news actually got to go out? So it was often quite difficult, and it takes you a while to get your head and your head around all the different name places. Do you know what I mean? Because you're broadcasting to such a big area, and it's obviously split into all the smaller areas. If you're getting the name places wrong, and you're really going to offend some people, and they're going to really make you think, hang on, this isn't local at all.
And a big shout out to TGR, and there's a because I know the audience are international as well, and they they're mentioning their favourite presenters. Delilah is one. I don't know if she's still on the air to this day, but there's a lot of people in the chat are reminiscing when their stations used to be local. So it's nice to see all that. But with our limited time here, because we are also using a YouTube slot, which is normally on my evening show it's just us, but because we've got a special show this Sunday, this is kind of a practice run for our special EAS show, which is happening. I don't know if you know, but the government, I don't know if you saw a message from the government, there's a new testing the alert system on Sunday. And we're doing a special radio show, so this is kind of a practice, a simulcast in fact, which is something we don't normally do, but it's just, we thought, you know what, we might as well practice, see if it all works, and I think we're sounding alright, aren't we, Sam?
Yeah, CTR says Delilah's is still on, she's been on since the 90s.
Okay, now obviously, I don't want to bring back memories. You had a great time at Heart, and obviously it was devastating this year to see that you were going to be disappearing, to be replaced by somebody. What was it like when you had that news on the 9th of January? Because I remember where I was when that came in.
Yeah, I mean, it was again something we were kind of expecting, but I didn't think it was going to happen for a while. I knew it was going to come, and I thought it would come in this year, but I thought it would happen sort of later on in the day. Finding out about that was just devastating, really, just gutting, and just kind of like the realization sunk in. It's like, oh, that's it. That is probably it. That's my time at Global gone, and it was just the best company to work for. It's the biggest radio brand in the UK, and it's the best, and as it should be. And you're working for the biggest radio station. Heart is the biggest radio station in the UK, really.
Yeah,
it just is.
With 13.3 million listeners according to Radar. So
exactly. And I've had the best times of my career working there, and I've never broadcast to such a large amount of people. And I think that's kind of what I said to my husband when we found out about the news. I sort of said, I'll never have this again. And I think that was kind of the sort of sad thing. It was kind of the realization that, that's it. Do you know what I mean?
I know I'm going to mention Sophie again. I know she's kind of like, and I mean, you met Sophie, didn't you, Sam? We were on Clean Feed with her last year, and you'll remember we did a kind of a test project with her where she would have to reminisce and read all those old names from years ago, like Power FM and what was the others, Mercury and Invicta FM. You mentioned them earlier, and I know Sophie's gone into acting, and she's doing acting stuff now, but it's weird because we got this small world. I'm still here, just still doing what we do best, and obviously you hosted your last show, and it was. But have you ever broadcasted from the Capital Studio in London's Leicester? The Global Studio in Leicester Square in London.
Yeah. So not the Capital one, but for London, for Heart, yes, I did quite a few times actually. It was so exciting when they asked me to do the cover work on there. So I actually did Boxing Day show back in 2020, or was it 2019? I can't remember what year it was, but I think it was maybe 2019. They asked me to do the Boxing Day show, so I was on the air 7 p.m. till 10 p.m. on Boxing Day across the UK, and that was just fantastic. My first ever networked show right across the UK on Heart. It was brilliant. That obviously went so well, so then I did quite a few cover overnights. Did a lot of the overnight shows. I did quite a few weekends, and that was just brilliant doing those shows. They put me up in the in the hotel over the road, and I did the shows there, and just broadcasting across the whole country is something phenomenal. And working from those studios, they're just the best studios you could ever want to work with. They're just so high tech, and it's just it was amazing. A really a career highlight.
Yeah, and obviously I have been to the global studios in Leicester Square, and I know Sam. Well, you've heard me in Leicester Square, haven't you, Sam? I've sent you clips of me there, and it was a dream come true to just as a 15-year-old in 2018. I was in there. Big Top 40 show. I'm sure you know what the Big Top 40 is.
Yeah.
And I saw the satellite feed and IRN and the network chart. Do you remember the network chart, Pepsi chart with Dr. Fox? And it was, who was it? And it was on all the radio stations, and I was there in 2018 watching the satellite feed, and that's kind of what inspired me to get into this whole nonsense. It was, yeah, and me and Sam, how long have we been doing this nonsense for?
Quite a while now, like 2018 or something.
Yeah, we've met long ago. I think it was 2017. We met.
Where did you two meet then?
Well, where did you meet me, Sam? Was it on one of my
YouTube.
shows? Go on.
Yeah, I met you on YouTube, and you managed to beat a Simon game that recently came out. It was the one that you wear on your head, Simon Optics.
Yeah, and sadly I don't have that channel anymore. It's someone took it in our little electronic games community. But that was how we met, and we've been doing shows together ever since. But obviously, it was a sad time when. Obviously Global, a great company, and the others, they have their own visions. But obviously when Faye Bamford auditioned as well, you were in that crowd when Global disappeared, and when Bauer, with their shows, all of a sudden everybody was coming after me and Sam, and I'm just going, why?
Well, my YouTube channel is very popular. I have over 7,000 people subscribed to me.
I know, and that's how we work together. I mean, just out of curiosity, you would have seen us, me and him. We just do what we do best. What attracted you to want to join the nonsense that me and Sam are doing?
But I think the thing with radio is that most people that are in radio are passionate, and they are a bit obsessive, I think. And I think that's clear with you guys. You can tell you guys are pretty radio obsessors. You're very passionate about it all. Dare I say we're all a little bit geeky with it all? That's just how we are, right? I think when you're into radio, if you're a real radio nerd, that's what makes it work. That's what makes you tick. Radio is your life, and you can tell that with you guys.
And obviously, I mean, he's been here for 15 years. I've been here for 8, so he's been here for longer.
Yeah.
Go on.
I think the radio love and the passion that everybody has for radio will never die. And yes, radio is completely different now to what it was. It has changed dramatically, but I think there are still people out there that absolutely love radio. And I think that radio is going to come back full circle. I really do think that, the fact that there were so many small stations, then it went really big and won, and I think it's going to come back round.
I think it's thanks to Daniel Ingraham. He started something 10 years ago, and you were there at the beginning, weren't you, Sam, when he started this? And that's how I came along. That was how Evangelos came along. And this, all these small pop-ups showing up, and it's all thanks to one guy, Daniel Ingraham.
Yeah,
And
he was the one that discovered these things in electronic games, and like test programs. So what happens is you put this game into test mode, and it will play like most of the sound effects like back to back. And it's a good way to like capture sounds coming through electronic games.
Yeah, and we were I was probably 12 when I started here, and Dan was. We were only children, and now we've grown together. We've became adults, and I'm 22, he's 30, and I don't know how old Dan is, but it all started 10 years ago at the other place we all know where, and then of course we split off in 2020, and this is how we kind of became ourselves. I mean, I know you've got this passion of, there's so many other radio stations, YouTube channels, not mentioning Kat here. We all know Kat. Wish her well, Kat Kaiser, if you're listening, evening. But what makes you so passionate about this project that me and Sam are doing? What makes you want to come here and join us?
I just think that it's the fact that radio is still going in so many different mediums and so many different forms. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not radio how it used to be. You turn on the dial, and there were 3 radio stations locally to you. There was a BBC one, and there was kind of, that was it, the AM ones. And now there are just so many different ways that people can get involved in radio. And the fact that it's now like not a broadcast that's just on something you plug in to the wall. It's now, like you say, it's on YouTube, and that's where you guys are. And you guys are doing it for people that really still care, and I think that's what's important as well. You're doing it for the people that care, that really are interested, and that remember. You know, you're doing it for people that remember what radio used to be like in the old days, and I love that.
Oh yeah, GTR wants to mention we got our game development studio going on, and we're actually working on a game at the moment called Super Slingo. It's a puzzle game where it's like slots meets bingo, so that's one of the projects that we're doing at the moment.
And obviously, you know, I know that's one of your many, and obviously I deal with the kind of, so Sam does the gaming side, and this is why we're coming together tonight, because it is, we have our own role to play, and, you know, this is what the project's all about. You know, I deal with the radio, I do the jingles, and then he does the game stuff, and it all just comes together. And I know that he's got his own VOs. I know you're working with, who are you working with at the moment? Hallie, isn't it?
Yeah, and we got a new one called Lauren.
Yeah, so it's a diverse project, but on evenings like this one, it's really rare that you get to hear this show on YouTube unless we're doing something big. And, you know, I'm not going to speculate, and I know people on Digital Spy. I'm sure you've heard of that website, haven't you, Haannah? Digital Spy.
You're joking, of course. I've been on there a few times myself. My name's mentioned on there.
And I know that people are going to start speculating after tonight, and obviously I'm not going to say anything, but all I'm going to say is it's really exciting. I mean, it is, I mean, without giving anything away here tonight, because I will just let the people speculate, but how excited are you for the future?
I'm so excited for the future. You are just an amazing couple of guys. You really, really are. You're such a great team. You can tell that already by you. And the passion shines through. So, yeah, to be able to work with people that care and that are that passionate about radio is fantastic.
And just in case those people on Digital Spy are listening, because I bet they are, what would you like to say to those people who do miss you? What would you say to them without giving away any clues? I mean, me and you, we know what's happening, but we're not going to tell just yet. We're still in the works, but without giving clues away, what would your message be to those who really miss you?
I'll say follow me on my Instagram. It's _Haannah Clarkson. That's who I am. You can find me there. Find out exactly what is going on with me and my future. And who knows what might be the future, hey?
Well, me and you know, but Sam also knows. But don't blow it, Sam, because I have to tell Sam because obviously you know. Me, Sam, and Haannah, we all know what's happening, but we're not going to announce it just yet. So do stick about. But when we do announce it, I bet your socials are going to explode when it does actually happen. I mean,
well, as I said, you can follow me. It's actually I gave out my Twitter, my X. Do we call it Twitter or we should call it X?
X.
I gave out my X. My Instagram is Haannah Daisy Clarkson.
Yeah. So just stick around and stick about. We've got something big. This is one of many. This is a special interview tonight, but obviously it is leading to a massive announcement, and the only place you're going to hear that announcement will be right here. All I'll say is on the day of Patch Tuesday. We don't know when, but at some point on the day of Patch Tuesday. So do stick around, and for now, without blowing our cover, I'd just like to say, how excited are you for the future?
I'm very excited for the future. I'm so keen and excited and ready to be doing future activities, whatever they may be. We should probably leave it at that, shouldn't we?
Okay. Yeah, let's not blow our cover. But look, listen, Haannah, Sam, do you have any questions from your own audience? Because I know we are coming together tonight for a special radio and YouTube simulcast. Is there any messages coming from your audience this evening?
No, just, yeah, all good, yeah.
All right, well, I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you, Sam, for allowing me to do this. It is very unusual. I'll be honest, this is really weird, doing a simulcast, because I'll be honest, I'm so used to doing it on my own, but the fact that we get to come together as one this evening, because I know a lot of the YouTube audience, especially people in radio, they are craving, and so this is why we're making it on YouTube. And I'm sure your husband might be listening. So do you want to say anything to your husband? He might be listening now.
Well, me?
Well, your husband. Well, he might be listening to this very show.
Yeah, I think you might be. Can you hurry up and put the dinner on, please? I'm hungry.
What do you want to say to Haannah? Because I know, Sam, what do you want to say to Haannah before we say goodbye and wish her well this evening?
Yeah, well, it's been nice talking to you, Haannah. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get something, you'll hear some news in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much for having
Yeah.
me on. It's been so great, and absolutely, like, more power to you guys. Like, let's just keep going with what you guys are doing, and you know, just good luck with everything. And do you think we'll speak again in the future?
Well, we let's not speculate. I know people are saying stuff, and I'm already getting DMs from people on Digital Spy already saying stuff. So I'm not going to read them because I'm going to keep my mouth shut. But there is a lot of it. I'll just say my phone is now exploded with hundreds and hundreds of messages now from people in radio. So we might have actually started something this evening, so we're just going to let them speculate, shall we?
Okay, yep, let's do that. Amazing.
All right, well, from all of us here in Bristol, thank you very much for tuning in. Sam, thank you very much for allowing me to do this evening. It is something that me and you've always wanted, so we've put this together. And yeah, do stick around. We will make an announcement sometime soon, all right? All right, Sam, is there anything you want to say before we have to go? Because I know we must be gone now. We've taken your time as well.
Yeah, I was just saying, hopefully we'll be around to do the big show on Sunday, won't we, RJ?
Well, yeah. I hope I'm gonna. I don't think I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna try and be here. I will work really hard. I'm gonna try and be here for the big show because
you've got a party straight after, haven't you?
yeah, I've got to shoot from here to the hotel, and yeah, we'll see how that does, because I'm going to do that show from the studio. Because the benefit of this interview is I'm actually practicing using this little technology we've got here, and that's why we're kind of simulcasting, because obviously we don't have time to practice tomorrow, so that's why we're putting it on YouTube. It's just to get us ready for Sunday, because this is how we're going to do it. You'll be on YouTube, I'll be on the radio, so it's a good practice. For one more thing, I am going to allow one Digital Spy user a mention tonight, because they have a nice, decent question. Do you have any advice to anybody, be it people here in radio or on YouTube, who has a passion for radio or the electronic games community? What would you say to those people who want to come and join the nonsense that we're doing?
I would say keep going. The amount of emails, back in the day it was probably letters. The amount of letters I sent out to people asking for jobs, telling them to give me a chance, send them my demo. The amount of no's I got was insane, and you just have to keep pushing. And if you know and if you believe in yourself that you are good enough, you will get there one day.
Okay. I think I shouldn't look at my phone anymore, because I feel really tempted to read the messages, but it's all speculation. It's all speculation about something. So I'm not going to say, I can't confirm or deny, but what I can say is tune in to me and Sam on here, the electronic game stream, or my evening show, wherever. We will have news. That's all I'm going to say. We don't know when. Well, some of us know. But for the rest of you, we will reveal it sometime soon. That's all we're going to say. But for now, Haannah, I think we'll just say we'll see you soon, I guess.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much for having me on, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you very much.
you,
It's a
Haannah.
pleasure to be with you.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks to both of you. I really appreciate that.
Thank you very much.